Hey guys, welcome to the UF Disciple channel. Today we have another graphics card unboxing, overview, and review to do, and it's the Galax GTX 960 EXOC Extreme Overclocked 4GB edition. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get started with opening up this thing. Getting the tape off. Why did I cut my nails? Who knows? There we go. Watch me struggle doing this, and then let me see if I figured this out yet. Come on. Nope, rip the box. Dang it. I am terrible at opening this kind of packaging. My fingers. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Get out of the box. A nice black matte box, just like the 960 EXOC. Some foam pad, user manual, graphics card disc, or driver disc, get rid of that. What is this? Setup guide, easy steps for quick installation. Don't need that. VGA to DVI. Then we also have Molex to an 8-pin power connector. Nothing else in there. And then, okay, look at that. Let's get this, move that over there. Let's get you out of the box, or out of the bag, anti-static bag. Look at that. 964 gigabytes. This is beautiful. All right, and this also has a nice black backplate, which is nice to see on like a lower end graphics card that Galax is including backplates. So I'm going to get some beauty shots of this thing, and then we will go over some benchmarks. So let's do that. The Galax GTX 960 EXOC 4GB edition sports an all-black plastic shroud with two black fans for cooling with a black anodized aluminum backplate to go with its black PCB. The backplate and color coordination is nice to see on a lower-end card and gives it a premium look. Coming out of the top of the card, you'll find its heat pipe as well as the SLI connector. For the output, it has one DVI-D, one DVI-I, one DisplayPort 1.2, and an HDMI 2.0 port. For power requirements, it is recommended that you have at least a 400-watt power supply, and the card requires the single 8-pin PCIe power connector. For the technical specifications, the Galax GTX 960 has 1024 CUDA cores, 4 GB of 128-bit GDDR5 VRAM clocked at 3,506 MHz out of the box. The 960 EXOC comes with a base clock of 1,266 MHz, and my card had a GPU boost of 1,405 MHz. As far as overclockability, I was able to achieve an 8% overclock on the core clock and an 11% memory overclock for a total of 1,524 core clock and 3,903 memory clock. Now let's move on to the benchmarking data. For all of the benchmarks, I ran the card with my i7-6700K, which was overclocked to 4.4 GHz, and I had 32 GB of DDR4 213300 MHz RAM. I tested a variety of games at the highest graphics settings possible in each game with the resolutions of 1920 by 1080, 2560 by 1440, and 3840 by 2160 for 4K. I tested the GTX 960 with Batman Arkham Knight, Crysis 3, Far Cry 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, Tomb Raider, and The Witcher 3. Each of these benchmarks was run both at the out-of-the-box speeds as well as while overclocked. Feel free to pause the video at any point to take a further look at the graphs, since the overall highlights will only be discussed and not the minutiae of each test that was run. Beginning with 4K, we see that the 4 GB of VRAM does not help the card to achieve manageable frame rates in any game, with 21 being the highest average FPS while overclocked. 1440p, however, is a different story. At stock speeds, this card managed at least a 30 FPS average in Arkham Knight, Crysis 3, GTA 5, Shadow of Mordor, and Tomb Raider, with Far Cry 4 joining that club when the card was overclocked. The only game that was excluded from said club was The Witcher 3, which had a mid-20s average and suffered from stuttering and frame rate dips. At 1080p, the card performs exceptionally, hitting a 60 FPS average in every game while overclocked besides Far Cry 4 and The Witcher 3. 1080p gaming appears to hold little challenge for this Galax GTX 960. So what's the conclusion? Well, the 4GB of VRAM actually has a minimal effect on this card over other GTX 960s. It does perform better at 4K than a 2GB card, but 1440p and 1080p are only marginally better, which can be explained by a better overclocking of the graphics chip. Aesthetically, this card is a looker. With a consistent design, quality backplate, and the cost of 3,499 South African Rand, makes it a good deal in South Africa for a GTX 960. Unfortunately, when I checked out the Galax US store, I couldn't find it in stock, so I don't know what the US pricing is on this card. If I was in the market for a GTX 960, honestly, this would be my go-to choice here in South Africa. It performs well, looks great, and feels like it has a better build quality than some of the other cards I've gotten my hands on. And I'd like to give a huge thank you to Wootware for sponsoring this video on the Galax GTX 960 EXOC 4GB edition. Currently, they're the only retailer in South Africa carrying this card, and they provide an excellent price on it as well. Wootware has a super helpful customer support staff, huge selection, and incredible prices on so many different pieces of computer hardware, including the all-new Samsung 950 Pro M.2 SSDs, which I hope to get my hands on very soon. So if you're in South Africa, head on over to wootware.co.za to woot up your life. So that's it for my review of the Galax GTX 960 EXOC 4GB edition graphics card. Like this video if you found it helpful, dislike it if it was more disappointing than Bethesda tying the frame rate of Fallout 4 to the actual game speed. Yes, I'm so bitter about this that I had to mention it in this video as well, including the video I did on Fallout 4 exclusively. Don't promise us lies, Bethesda. You can subscribe to stay up to date on future graphics cards videos that I have, including 4 more Galax graphics card reviews coming soon. You could also use my Amazon affiliate code down in the video description to support my channel financially by buying random junk on Amazon or graphics cards. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.